Hey guys, it's Friday night and I'm sure lots of you are celebrating that this week. Even though it was a short week, if you had a lot gone, sometimes 4 days can feel like a long week. Anyway, all good. I'm here tonight, going to make something cool with you, and I hope that you're in the mood for a little bit of Friday night creating. If you're not creating yourself, that's okay. Hey Kay, that's alright. If you're not creating yourself, you can watch me create, and feel free to ask questions, all that kind of stuff. Now I'm actually just going to make sure this is showing up on my computer as well now that I'm live. So give me 1 second while I do that. I've got the blue glasses on today, or the blue fronts on my glasses. So, all right, let me see the right, I'm in the wrong group at the moment online, so let me do better. Hi Denise, long time no see. It was lovely to see you today. It was very nice. All right, let's see. Am I here? You guys can see me, so obviously, oh, it wants me to connect to WhatsApp. I don't want to do that right now. No, maybe later. Yes, I do want to leave. It always wants you to do these things at inconvenient times, right? All right, where am I? There I am. All right, let's make it big so I can see all your comments. Turn off the sound so I don't have to hear myself twice. Hey Linda, nice to see you. And Renee, we got lots of people coming on. That's great. Thank you so much for being here on a Friday night. I hope wherever you are, the weather is treating you nicely. We had a beautiful day here today. It was actually very warm for March, so it was almost like summer. Almost, not quite. Beautiful day. Okay, all right, let me pop this phone in the holder. It's become lately quite easy for me to pick what I'm going to work with on any given live, and only because all I've got to do is open my catalogue and I've highlighted all the retiring things and pick something that I'm going to miss and work with that. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I've picked something out. Hey Fran, nice to see you there. All right, let me switch this camera around and let's get going. All right, there we are. Everyone see that? Okay. All right, I've got the corner of my computer over here and some bits and pieces. I haven't even got a card to start with because I'm making it up as I go. But I have a bit of an idea what I want to do tonight. Hey Betty, nice to see you. All right, so I have actually got, when I was going through the catalogue, let me show you what it is that I'm inspired by tonight. When I was going through my catalogue, and because I've gone through and highlighted everything that's retiring, it makes it really easy to see things that I want to play with before they go, right? So in the catalogue on page, where is it? I'm not far from it, I don't believe. I was very perturbed. I had not noticed that these were on the retired list until tonight and went, oh, I've got to play with those. Sponge brayers. Sponge brayers, oh my goodness. Hey Barb, nice to see you. I can't remember whether you're down for next month's class, technique class. It's the stained glass technique, so you can send me a message or an email or whatever if you're interested in doing that one. Please don't feel pressured, but I just couldn't remember whether I have you down or not. Excuse me. Alright, so we have sponge brayers here on page 147 of the current catalogue. And sadly, they've got a highlighted mark through them, which means they're not going to be in the new catalogue, and I didn't realise that until tonight, and I'm quite sad because I love my sponge brayers. So the good news is, though, they are marked down, okay? So I'm in Australia, and if you're watching this from somewhere else, your prices will be completely different to whatever they are here, but they were $14 in the catalogue, and they're going out for $11.20. They'll be available until they're sold out or until the new catalogue comes in on the 4th of May. One or the other. So if they sell out first, then they're just gone. But they are very, very cool. You get 2 handles and 4 sponges in a pack, and the handles just come off like really easy just to take them apart like this. And you get 4 of these little sponges, and as you can see, I've used these ones for colours before. I don't think I've got any brand new ones. I mean, that one's been used for, that was actually used for a technique I did that used some adhesive, and that's actually a sticky one. I keep it in a box all by itself because I used it for a sticky adhesive, and if I wanted to use that for that again, I could do that, but I don't like it being around all my other sponge sprayers. And I just keep all my sponge sprayers in a drawer, in bags, and you can wash them, but I tend not to. I just keep them. So this one's been used for dark blue or navy before, and I'll use that one again. This one's been used for either light purple or light blue. In fact, both, because I can see both colours there. So yeah, it's just as easy, especially if you have a collection of them, to keep them for a particular colour. But that's totally up to you. So I'm going to play with the sponge sprayers, and if you haven't seen me play with these before, like I said, they're one of my favourite tools. I'm just using plain white cardstock. This is the basic white cardstock, and I'm going to start with these beautiful brayers. And tonight I'm going to work, because I love blues, so I thought I'd work in blues, going from the lightest to the medium to the dark. Okay, and that's a really, you can do brayering successfully with one colour, but you can add more colours to give it a bit more depth. So I always start with my lightest colour, which means I'm going to use the lighter brayer, and I'm going to open up my Balmy Blue. This one's a bit stiff, not sure why. And to ink it up, for those of you who haven't seen it before, you roll it around and around in the same direction. So you don't go backwards and forwards, you actually roll it in the one direction. Alright, and the reason you want to do that is you want to get an even coating of ink all the way around the brayer, or all the way around the sponge. That way when you put it onto your piece of paper, you'll get a nice even colouring. And that's the whole point of brayers. This is why I will miss them. They're kind of being replaced, I guess, by our beautiful blending brushes. But to me, they're still different products. The brayers allow you to do ombre looks very easily, and you can achieve that with the blending brushes as well. But if you want really lovely even colouring, I think the brayers have the edge on that. The blending brushes though are gorgeous as well, and I use them a bit differently. Like if I wanted to go from a corner, that would look really lovely with a blending brush. This I feel is better for going straight across the page. So I'm working on the short side, and when you're learning to brayer, it's definitely easier to brayer on a shorter piece of paper. And I always start off the paper. I'm right-handed, so I'm starting on the right-hand side with my right hand. If you were left-handed, you would start on the left-hand side with your left hand. So I start off the paper and I start to roll it, and I'm just going to apply pretty even pressure. You can even push hard if you like as you go, but at the very beginning, when you have the new ink, that's where it's going to be darker. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to repeat that. Sorry if I'm rocking the camera a little bit. Once again, start off the paper. I don't know why, I like to go back and make this pretty pattern underneath here, so I line it back up in the same place, but you don't have to do that. That's just me being a little bit OCD. Anyone else do that? Okay, so you can see each time you do this, you're going to get a darker result. And you might see a few little lines or streaks. Don't worry, because the sponge brayers are very forgiving. They're not like the old, I loved the old rubber brayers, but they were harder to get a good smooth result. These are actually super easy to get a good result because you just keep going until you get the result that you want. Whereas the rubber brayers, once you started to go wrong, it just kept going wrong. So if you got streakiness, you either had to live with it or you had to start over. Whereas this, I think, is very simple. I can feel, this is an older brayer, I've had this one for a long time, and it's slipping a little bit. It's not rolling quite as well as I would like it, but that's okay. My next one I'm going to be using with the Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to use a different brayer. So this is just the base layer. And as many times as you want to, you keep going until you build up the amount of colour that you want. I like to go down to completely white at the other end, so you can see I haven't even touched that end at all. Okay, can you start to see how it's turning into this lovely ombre kind of a look? By ombre I mean dark to light or light to dark. So there you go, that's how that's looking. So let's use our other one, because I have a feeling it's going to roll better for me, and I'm going to build up a bit more colour. So we've got our base colour. Now I'm going up to Misty Moonlight, which is a medium blue, more like a denim blue actually, and it's really, really lovely. Once again, start off your paper, get that out of the way, start off your paper and then go slowly on. And we're going to go, and I'm not going to go quite as far as I did with the other one because I still want some of this other colour coming out from behind. Come back down. The reason you start off the paper is because when you first apply the very first roll, it's got quite a lot of ink on it and it can give you a streaky look unless you work in from, it's kind of like getting rid of that first layer even before you get onto the paper, and you want to do that so that you don't get that extra build up of colour. But I'm actually really liking how this is turning out. So each time I do this I go a little bit less further because I want my other colour to show through just ever so slightly down the bottom. And you can keep going until you think you've got enough. Alright, you should start to see how this is looking now, and we've got some really nice colouring going on in there. Now I could just leave it like that. I think just a tiny bit. I'm going to add a little bit of navy because that's super dark and that's just going to be kind of on the edge, so I'm only going to do the I'm only going to do the end of that just to give it a lovely, there we go, look at that, isn't it lovely? It's a really, really nice easy technique, and you can do this with any colours. Obviously if you're using you can create the most beautiful sunset looks by using, a bright yellow, an orange and a pink, maybe a bit of purple in there, all the colours of the sunset. Really lovely to create sunsets with brayers. And it's very easy to use die cuts in black as a silhouette over the top of those sunsets, and it just looks beautiful for not a lot of effort. It's actually really stunning. So this is coming together really nicely. Hey Helen, how are you going? Nice to see you there. Sorry I just saw your comment. And I see you've been here for a while. Sorry about that. I was otherwise focused on my project here. Alright, so the colours I've used in case you're wanting to recreate this look: Balmy Blue first, then Misty Moonlight, and I've done a tiny bit of the Night of Navy just to kind of darken up the edges. Okay, now there's a whole bunch of different things we could do with this piece now. I could use it as a background for some stamping. I could use it for, I could put die cuts on top of it, then that would look lovely. I am actually going to do a die cut for this one, and it's just something I wanted to play around with. But something else that I love to do, and you may have seen me do this before in some of my videos, is I like to have a little bowl of water, put my fingers into the water and flick it onto this coloured area. And what that does is, if you've got a really good build up of ink like we have here, when you flick your water on, the water sort of goes straight through to the cardstock underneath, the core colour, which in this case is white, and it pulls the ink out of that spot. So you end up with, I guess you call it a blotchiness, but I love it. It's just such a pretty look, of water droplets all over. And in fact, I don't know whether maybe I spat on the page. There's another technique I haven't shown you before, but there's a tiny little blob here and I'm wondering if maybe I spat on it. Oh my goodness, that's a bit embarrassing. But anyway, that's pretty much the same technique, isn't it? It's water on a page. How awful is that? Anyway, kind of funny. Don't laugh too hard at me, guys. Alright, so I just thought this would be a nice background for something, and I was thinking, what would I like to put on top? And I'm going to get my mini catalogue and just show you one of my new favourite sets that's in here. Those of you who did my online class last month, you have already seen these, so that's pretty nice. Hang on, where is it? I've lost it. Nothing unusual about that. It's the Sand and Sea Suite, which is on page 40 and 41 of your catalogue. Actually, I think it's 40, 41, and then there's more detail on 42. Okay, so it's this fantastic stamp set called Friends Are Like Seashells, and if you don't have it, it's a really pretty set. If you like shells, really, really lovely. You've got colouring ones that do like a watercolour image over the top of your line drawing stamps. There's some really nice sentiments. I like this one that says happy birthday to my beautiful friend. I think that's really beautiful. And there's some really great things. But the cool thing about this is something that you don't see terribly often. Well, it matches the die. Well, we do see that, okay? So see in the dies, there's some, here they are here, but I've actually got them right here. And you can see that some of these match the stamps. So for example, the sand dollar matches this sand dollar here, and you've got a little starfish, and you've got a bit of seaweed and a whole bunch of other things. Okay, very cool. However, you've also got in the same set this lovely big die, which you can see I've done some cutting, and I've actually got bits stuck in there. Sorry about that. Didn't think, because I just cut this out just before we started. Alright, so this one, this big die does a lovely shape, and here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so that's how it would look. This is Seaside Spray cardstock, so you can see that's really pretty. However, I did actually cut this out of some champagne foil. And if you're wondering what am I doing using champagne foil, in case you didn't know, the champagne foil is being retired, guys, and it's still available, which I believe I'm trying to remember which ones this, I think it's the silver has already sold out in the foils, and the brass has sold out, but the champagne's still there in the online store, so you can still grab it if you would like it. I didn't realize it was leaving. And let me just quickly show you something. This is the champagne foil right here. I just want to show you how it's different to, obviously it's different to gold, that's easy to see, but this is the silver next to it. Can you see the difference? A lot of people say, oh, it's just the same as silver. No, it isn't. It's actually a lot softer. The silver is more hard, or it still has its place, but I find this a harder colour, whereas the champagne seems to have a softness about it. So I really like it. I will miss it. It's a sad thing that it's going, but hey, all good things must come to an end. And I've actually gone ahead and cut this die in my champagne foil, just like that. Okay, I'll put that back in its case before I misplace it. Guys, you've all gone very quiet. I'm either entertaining you and you have nothing to say because it's amazing, or I hope you're not bored. That's all I hope. Alright, so I'm not going to use my stamp set on this particular piece because it's foil, but did you notice that one I showed you a moment ago, this one? This one's not stamped on either. It's embossed, however, and we are going to emboss this as well. So the stamps, see this stamp here actually fits in this spot. This one fits in this spot. This one fits in this spot. So it actually does cut out these stamps, but it's really pretty the way it works. But then not only can you stamp it, you can also emboss it. So that's what I'm going to do with the foil, because the foil's not so great to stamp on, but it is fantastic to emboss, and it does a really good job. And I thought this would look really nice on my braid background. What do you think? Right, so here's the embossing folder right here. It is a 3D folder, so if you have the specialty plate, that will give you the best results. Also, if you have a new cut and emboss machine, it comes with a specialty plate, so you will definitely have one. Now, it's easy to line up. So what I do, open up the folder and put it in on top of the image. There are some sort of, I don't know if you can see them. How can we see those better? There's some little leaves down here. Can you kind of see the leaves? Let me see, I'll bring it up. Anyone see those? Hey Angie, nice to see you there. So these actually line up with the die. Okay, so I've lined the die leaves with the ones in the embossing folder, and they're a perfect match. And if you get those leaves at the bottom lined up, the rest of the die just falls into place and lines up perfect. Okay, so I'm actually going to run this through my cut and emboss machine, which I will bring in. Now, It does make my table wobble, so I apologize in advance. I'm just going to turn it around. This is my bigger machine. To me, this is the workhorse. I do most of my cutting for classes with this guy, and then I take my little one with me when I'm going to classes because it's easy to carry. So you've got your base plate, which is number 1, and then you've got your adapter plate, which is number 2. Now when you're using a 3D embossing folder like this, you don't need the adapter plate, you only need the base plate, number 1, and the specialty plate, which is number 4. Let me quickly grab that. Here it is. Alright, so this is number 4. So it goes base plate, number 1, then your embossing folder lined up with your paper all ready to go, and then your specialty plate on top. You don't need any of the clear plates at all, just the specialty plate and the base. That's it. All right, really easy with the 3D folder to just run that through, and it goes through like butter. Really easy to turn the handle for that to go through. If it's not easy to turn, you're doing something wrong. I think a lot of people try and put the specialty plate and the embossing folder through and try and put the adapter through as well. You take the adapter off, only the base plate and the specialty plate. Okay, all right. So let's have a look at this and see what we've got. I'll move this out of the way. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. Look at it. Perfectly embossed. Absolutely gorgeous. And the soft surface of the foil gives you this beautiful result. It is just gorgeous. Okay, so let's put this card together. It's actually really simple. I've got a piece of, actually this is not Whisper White, this is Basic White Thick, which is the same essentially as Whisper White Thick. It's just the new product that replaced Whisper White when the Whisper White factory no longer produced that. It's the same product essentially though. Right, then I've got my Misty Moonlight cardstock, and I've measured my white piece to fit just inside. So if you're in Australia or you're using metric, this one is 1/2 centimetre shorter on both the long side and the short side than the piece underneath. So that's pretty simple to work with. I've got a million Tombos here, so I'll find one that works, don't you worry. I know this one's getting low. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, here we go. Yay! That's coming out. Anyone else ever have that problem? The other thing, of course, is I could use tear and tape, which I have on the table behind me as well. And then this one is just going to go. The good thing about Tombow, if you are using Tombow as your adhesive, is it's forgiving in that it's not, because it's a liquid adhesive, it takes a few moments to dry, and because it takes a few moments to dry, you have time to move it or wriggle it into place. So I'm just going to pop this on here, and if it's not quite straight, I can move it before it sets. But it doesn't take it very long to set, so you don't want to take too long to do that. Alright. So I'm actually going to be putting this onto here. So when I first saw this Sand and Sea suite in the catalogue, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't particularly excited about it. I thought, yeah, it's okay. I like shells, it's not bad. I really did like the sentiments, but I didn't really like the colours in the suite or the way it was presented in the catalogue. So my apologies to whoever did the designing, because I'm sure you did a fabulous job. It just wasn't something that excited me. And then I saw someone use it and think, oh yeah, I like the way the dies and the embossing folder and the stamps all coordinate with each other. I like that. But once I started using it, it is just beautiful to use. And it's simple and it works well every single time. And I did a class with it, like I said, last month on my online class. And a couple of the people, isn't that beautiful embossed? I love it too. Helen, you got this, didn't you? And you did my online class with this last month. I was really happy with those projects. I thought they were beautiful. How nice is this with the ombre behind the blue, and then that beautiful champagne embossing on top. So if you love the champagne paper, grab it now because it's retiring. You don't have to worry about the Friends Are Like Seashells stuff. This stuff is not retiring. It's going into the next catalogue next month. So it's going to stick around for a while. Hooray! I'm very happy about that. Alright, the last thing I might do is put a little greeting on here. And I'm going to use this one from the stamp set that says wishing you the very best, because that's kind of nice and generic. And I'm going to cut myself a piece of, turn it up the right way. Oh, you know what? I've already got a piece here and I think it's the right size. It is. So this is a 1/2 inch wide piece of white, just a 1/2 inch wide strip. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a punch, my Pick a Banner punch, to flag the end. So let's pop that in there. And the nice thing about this Pick a Banner punch is it does both these punch ends, the concave and the convex. I never know which one is which. I think this is the concave because it's like a cave, and this one is the other. But it has the channels built for a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch and a 1 inch strip. So if you have strips of paper that are any of those measurements, they will fit beautifully into the channel of your punch. You push it in as far as it will go. I always check to make sure it's all the way through at the back, and then I just punch it and it comes out beautifully flagged. You can flag both ends if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight. Maybe I will punch the other end. Let's see. Let's see what I think. Oh, I have to bring my head in. My apologies, guys. You're going to be looking at the back of my head for a second. Sorry about this. And then the good thing about these, of course, is easy to get them straight, because I shouldn't say that before I check, but yep, that's pretty good, because you can see where you're going with those clear stamps. So there you go. So my choices are, I can trim this off and pop it so it goes across there, or I can flag the other end and have both ends flagged on there. And this time, just for fun, that's what I might do. Grab my scissors, and then I'm going to flag the other end. Yes, all the time. I know, we all do it. Right. Let's have a little look at that. That looks great. I could sponge the edges if I wanted to, but actually I'm not even going to worry about that. I can use dimensionals to pop this up if I want to. In fact, I think I will in this case. And because it's such a small one, I'm going to use mini dimensionals. But here's the thing I've noticed. If I want big dimensionals, I only find small dimensionals. If I want small dimensionals, guess which ones I find? And it's not the small ones. That's just how it works. You like this set, Carmel? That's good. Yeah, it's a lovely, beautiful set. I love it too. So I like these mini dimensionals behind anything small, because then you can't see them. They're just... And did you know, in case you didn't, I think most people know this now, we also have black dimensionals, which are fantastic when you're working with dark colours. And in a pack of black, it's a double pack in that you get half big and half small in the one pack. And I think that's a really economical way to do it. It's $10.50 and you get 2 sheets of each. So that's really cool. And there we go. There you go, I made a card. Isn't that beautiful, the embossed foil? I just love it. And I will be sad to see this beautiful champagne go. And I will be sad to see my Breyers go. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they're going. I'm still finding things in the list and I go, oh no, I've got to use that. But I think I have loved using these sponge Breyers, and I was on a mission when we first got them to try and get as many people as possible to get their hands on them, because I think they're fantastic. So if you don't have them, now's a great time, because they'll be retiring and then marked down to $11.20 for a packet. And in a packet you get 4 sponges and 2 handles. So they're a really good low priced item that's going to add a lot of value to your stamping collection. Okay, so that's my card for tonight. I'm actually going to, probably around 8:30, be back on my private group for another card. So if anyone is part of that group, to be in that group you just need to be one of my customers, or you need to be in my team.
and you need to be Australian based for that one, because that's where I do my giveaways and so forth. So pop over there if you wanted to see that, and you can certainly send me a message if that's a group you'd like to be part of. Okay, I hope everyone is well. Have a fantastic weekend wherever you are, and I'll see you very soon. I'll be on YouTube on Sunday night if anyone's interested in that. See you soon, guys. Bye.